It is still pretty early in the off season, but the Calgary Flames are keeping us fed.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Locked On Flames. As always, I'm your host, Jess, and thank you so much for joining me here today as we talk about a little bit of everything going on in and around the Calgary Flames organization. We're going to talk about some Oliver Kylington news, as well as Mangiapane, Backlund, and Coleman, and we have an arena update, as well as an update from Worlds. But before we dive into all of the good stuff, make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube, so you never miss an episode. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. I'm so happy to get y'all through the off season because it's going to be a long summer. But like I said, the Flames are keeping us plenty fed. They're making sure that everything's taken care of, and the fans aren't going without, because that would be a real bummer. But let's start with Oliver Kylington, shall we? Connor Ingram ended up winning the Masterson trophy, which, there's no really right or wrong answer or winner for this trophy, because it is about, of course, someone that's obviously dealt with a lot of struggles and getting through them and coming back to hockey. And, Connor Ingram was dealing with severe OCD and other mental health issues that had him on the verge of retirement, and he's been really open about it. And this is one of those awards where it's like, it's not like the Selke or the Vezina, where I'm like, no, this one was the clear defined winner, because you don't want to be nominated for this award. It speaks to your level of, resiliency and your strength. But like, at the end of the day, you don't want to be going through things that get you nominated for this. And even Connor Ingram said that. He was like, I wasn't boarding the plane to go to Grippy Sock vacation thinking, ooh, this is going to get me nominated for a Masterson trophy. Like, that's not really the forefront of anyone's thought process, I think, when dealing with these issues. But good for Connor Ingram. Incredible journey back, as well as Frederick Anderson, who was the second finalist, who had a blood clotting issue, and that's very scary, and I'm so glad that he is doing well. And then, of course, you have Oliver Kylington, who, as Flames fans, we have been very engrossed and invested in his journey back. He has done a great job, and for him to be playing hockey again after, basically 20 months without playing, it is incredible. And the fact that back in October, he couldn't set foot in the facilities without having a panic attack, to where he finished the season, is phenomenal. And healing is not linear when you're dealing with anything, but it's important to remember that for people with mental health issues as well. It's important to give them grace, as well as yourself grace, if you're struggling. I think, anyone who finds themselves nominated for this award, deserves a pat on the back. Even the players that are just nominated because they are old veterans. This truly feels like an award that could just be broken into pieces and handed to everyone. This really does just kind of feel like one where every team should have a finalist, and you are the winner, the finalist for that team. Like, there shouldn't be a little, a trophy for overcoming things and having to come back. I don't know. I feel like everyone's journey is unique, regardless of what like Tyler Seguin a few years ago was nominated because he had massive surgery. And then you have players like Chris Letang, who won last year after dealing with a stroke and losing his dad. Like, I cannot imagine having to pick between like everyone's stories. Like that's tough. And it's nice to see everyone back, everyone doing well. And you hope that everyone continues through their journey in the best way possible. Although Kylington did not win, you still have Mangiapane, who was up for the King Clancy trophy, which means which goes to the person that does a lot of community service and gives back to the community in great ways. And obviously, Mangiapane has Mangia's Breadsticks, where him and his fiancee Claudia bake and loaves of bread for kids, and they they help with food insecurity, and they serve as mentors for kids within the community. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's something that's kind of been lost, I would say, since I started growing up. I feel like we kind of don't have like that sense of community anymore. So it's nice to see people coming together to support good causes. The Selke trophy was announced this past weekend, and Alexander Barkov won. Congratulations. There's no surprise there. But they did release the voting, and I thought that it was pretty cool to see Backlund and Coleman finishing 20th and 21st in Selke voting. I know it's not up there. It's not high up. It's not like squeaking in or any he could have been a finalist. But to see them get recognized when they are in like a smaller Canadian market, I think is huge. I think that that's great. And I hope that we get to see more of what we saw from those two this upcoming season. But coming up next, we are actually going to talk about Worlds and just how incredible the experience has been for our good friend, Martin Pospisil. And we will be right back after this. Policygenius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. It is so important to be prepared in these types of situations because you truly never know when something could happen. And the last thing you want to think about when a time of chaos and loss arises is, how are my bills going to be paid? How am I going to support the family now? Policygenius helps you compare your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help talk you through it. Your work life insurance policy may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and even worse, it might not come with you if you leave your job. Policygenius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team. Check life insurance off of your to-do list in no time with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonnhl or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonnhl. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you're getting your podcasts, as we are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. Your Calgary Flames every day. What a way to continue the season, right? I mean, obviously the NHL season's done, but then to go represent your country is a pretty big deal, right? You're playing with the best of the best that you may never get the chance to play with in the NHL, right? Like, I don't see a world where Andrew Mangiapane is on the same team as John Tavares or Cale Makar or Charlie McAvoy. And Charlie McAvoy's not at Worlds, but those U.S. players, things like that. I think it's great. Mangiapane had assists on all of Canada's goals the other day. He had 4 assists, which is great. One thing that I do think is really important to note is that Mackenzie Weegar played in Worlds last summer, and it was able to kind of be, I don't want to call it like a tutoring session because but it was a little boost, right? You got that extra playing experience. Everyone's still playing at a competitive level. It's not like you're going to I don't know, like your town's beer league or something. Everyone's still competitive. And same thing with Tyler Toffoli. Tyler Toffoli played and obviously continued his offensive success. And it's hopefully something that Mangiapane is going to see follow as well, because we all know that he can score when he wants to and when he shoots the puck. So let's actually see it happen. Canada moves to 6-0 now. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. They've had quite a few games where it's questionable, but they somehow come out on top. I don't understand what happens there. But Martin Pospisil, I genuinely did not expect this from him. I did not expect for him to pop in the NHL either. And that is a safe thing to say. If you told me a year ago that Martin Pospisil and Connor Zary would be having, Calder candidate trophy nominee discussion based seasons, I would call you crazy, because I would say they're probably not playing for the Flames. But he has 2 goals and 4 assists in his first 5 games. He is 6 for 12 at the faceoff dot. Let's try it. Let's just let him take some faceoffs. I'm very impressed with what we're seeing from him, especially because of the road to recovery that he has had with his 5 or 6 concussions. And he talked with IIHF about his journey back and how, he couldn't do basic things for the first 5 months after his concussion. He couldn't, or after his last one, number 5, he couldn't drive. He couldn't do daily things, let alone skate. It took 8 months for him to get back out on the ice and be able to play. That's not really easy. And he talks a lot about how he really thought he was going to have to quit. And you really hate to see that, but it's also a nice reminder to keep it going and to play the best that you can, because it truly can be all over in just the blink of an eye. I mean, Nolan Patrick hasn't technically retired yet, but we've seen what migraines have done to him. We saw what they did to William Nylander in the playoffs this year. And migraines alone aren't fun, but ones that are triggered because of post-concussion, syndrome, I guess, it's really sucky, because it's not even you're doing something wrong. It's quite literally just your brain's intolerance. And sometimes it gets better, sometimes it gets worse, and other times it is just constant. And I hope that everyone that's dealing with that obviously is able to, rectify their problems. But it needs to be a stark reminder for Pospisil when he is making those hits. And I hope moving forward we see that, but he does not care about his reputation, his own words. So that's something you're just going to have to watch and wait for. I don't think it's fair to just say, oh, he's the next Tom Wilson when he has played, not even really a full season in the NHL. So just got to give him time to get settled, I guess. And I'm never going to sit here and defend anyone taking dirty or cheap shots unless it's on like a Vander Kane. So that's that. I really like that we're seeing players, at Worlds. I think it's great. I think it's a great extension of the season because, like I talked about earlier, you have, that extended season, but in a different type of competitive way. And when this is going to end versus a playoff run. I think that Pospisil and Mangiapane making the most of their off season and being healthy to go is so smart. I think it is very great because, again, you're playing at a high level, a competitive level. There's a gold medal on the line. And obviously Mangiapane didn't get to go last year because of his shoulder surgery. And then he went, it was the COVID year, I believe. And he was one of two players that were going to represent Team Canada, and he went. And I don't remember how that went, but that following year was the year he popped off. So let's cross our fingers and toes that we are going to see a continuation of Mangiapane's offense this fall, because the Flames will need it. He will need it for a contract year, and teams are going to be looking at that because he is going to be a trade deadline acquisition if he is not traded this summer, which we've talked about ad nauseum, and you can check out my Mangiapane episode from last week. I'm very proud of any of these players that, Johnny Gaudreau, former Flame, of course, now has the most points in U.S. leader, U.S. hockey history or something like that, which is bananas. And all the comments underneath it were like, yeah, well, that's what happens when your team never makes the playoffs. Well, I don't think any lies were told there. But congratulations to everyone that is representing their home countries and playing for what makes them proud. Coming up next, we are going to wrap up the show with a nice little arena update from Flames Nation. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break here, and we will be right back right after this. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle to level it up to peak performance. Supercharges, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home the huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive today at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around and hanging out with me this off-season. You can follow me on Twitter at Jess Belmosto. What would Flames fans do without Ryan Pike? Because I'm not sure any of us would really have as much knowledge as we do. He's a very hard worker, and we are so lucky to have him in our market. He put together a piece for Flames Nation that kind of dissects where things are. And Here is a quick snapshot of where things are at. There are 4 different applications in the city system, and some are related to the arena or the event center in the city's development permit system. 2 are land use redesignations to close off 5th Street and 13th Avenue so they can be incorporated into a larger lot. 1 is a development permit for excavation and grading, digging the hole for the arena. 1 is a development permit for shoring, putting up temporary walls, keep the hole intact as they start to build the arena. And all 4 are currently under review. Honestly, we all know that this is going to take some time. I don't think that anyone is naive enough to say, okay, we're going to have a new arena here in 2 years and, bye-bye Saddle Dome. It's not going to be anything like that. We kind of saw with Arizona how slow things were. Granted, things were a little bit different there, but you have to go through a lot of the the infrastructure sort of stuff. You can't just, it's not like Sims. You can't just build a house and plop it wherever you want and here is your arena and event center, right? You have to really obviously follow legal procedures. Last Monday, arena designs and preliminary work on the development application for the arena itself were shown to the event center committee at City Hall in camera. This is a confidential briefing. So none of us will ever know, at least immediately, what goes on there. Event Center Committee Chair Sonia Sharp discussed how things were progressing after the committee meeting. She expected they'll see something in mid-June for return to the Event Center Committee with a development permit potentially issued in early July. That's around the time Calgarians will see designs. We want to be able to say that we're breaking ground summer 2024. That is the momentum we have to hit. That's crazy. Obviously they're not just gonna boom the Saddle Dome, you have to have an arena, but that's crazy because I feel like we've been talking about this for so long, and for them to finally potentially be able to break ground and have that be 2 months away in June or July. Oh my God. That's crazy. So this, if everything's progressing, work could begin after the Stampede. The Cowboys tent will be on the arena lot during the Stampede, and it'll take a bit of time to clear out. But if the dominoes keep toppling with the applications, the roads will be able to be closed so they can consolidate everything and start excavating. It is so crazy. And I know how iconic the Saddle Dome is, but I also know how where it's lacking. So I understand why people are excited for this, but I think it's fair to be, not bummed, but change is weird. It looks like they really are aiming for 2027 completion, which is along that timeline. I think it's perfect. It goes along with kind of where the Flames are at in terms of retooling, reconfiguring your roster and turning over your roster, rebuilding, retooling, whatever you want to call it. This yet again transition period for the Flames. I don't know. Calgary gets cold, right? Obviously, it's not exactly like Texas where you don't have winters. But the goal is to have the excavation and shoring done before the winter So they would be digging out the foundation before the ground freezes, and that'll help move things along. But history suggests even if it gets done, we shouldn't expect the arena to be done prior to 2027. The city's recent annual financial report says construction of the new facility is expected to begin in 2024 and take approximately 3 years. We know things don't always move fast or according to plan. Things may, be on back order for a little bit. We all know how that gets. Sometimes we just have to wait. But the plan, in an ideal world and based on their planning for the 2021 version of things, the aim is to likely have the building done for May or June 2027, hand over to the Flames, and then they can work the operational kinks out over the summer before the NHL season begins in October. We don't live in an ideal world, so we'll see how things work out and things take shape. I hope all the Calgarians have fun. The Stampede always looks like so much fun. That's going to kick off next month. It truly looks like a blast. Every time I see people post pictures of, that they're there, or, sometimes like the singers that are there will post on their Instagram story. I'm like, I would love to be there, but I'm on the other side of the continent, so can't really do that. Things will start up again after the Stampede, particularly in terms of arena activity on the north end of Stampede Park, but a lot of lengthy projects that we've waited patiently to see will be unveiled over the summer. Ryan Pike, thank you so much for compiling all of this together and into a coherent and cohesive piece of literature, because that's a lot. How exciting. I'm really looking forward to the designs and the renderings, because you get a much better idea. Obviously, we aren't going to have naming rights or anything like that. So, maybe closer to when that happens, we can do our own name generator things, because it's probably going to be I don't know, insert sportsbook dome here or something like that. It's going to be interesting. But thank you, everyone, for hanging out with me today on Locked On Flames. Make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts, as well as YouTube, so you never miss a show. We are here for you Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, your team every day. Later this week, I have James Johnson from the Win Column coming on the show, and we're going to dive more into Huska and Conroy's first year as general manager and head coach and evaluate them. I think that JJ is a fantastic, rational and critical thinker that everyone can take a lot away from. And he is one of the recurring guests on the show for the last few years, and can't say enough nice things about him. So you're going to want to stick around for that. That will be Wednesday's episode. So I'll see y'all tomorrow too. Don't worry. But make sure you stay safe, stay warm, stay dry, stay cool. It's really hot here in New York. Stay hydrated, put on some chapstick, some sunscreen, and remember to be kind.